Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy here, also known as ETCG1 on this channel. Hey, if you're looking for repair videos, we don't do repair videos here. We talk about stuff here on ETCG1. If you would like to watch my repair videos, head on over to Eric the Car Guy. I'll post a link in the description to that channel and you can watch all the repair videos you'd like over there. But if you'd like to stick around for the discussion, hey, please do so. For today's topic, we're going to talk about one of Eric the Car Guy's failures. As many of you know, I'm not afraid to fail. In fact, I think my failures offer you the opportunity to see somebody else screw something up, and it doesn't cost you any money or anything, just a little bit of time watching a video. I even consider my failures as something that can be of benefit to you in those instances. Behind me, my 2001 Honda Odyssey that had a bad transmission. It's had a bad transmission for some time. I've made 3 attempts at a repair of this transmission, and it has admittedly gotten incrementally better, but it is not back to 100%. It still needs more work. Now you'll notice hanging on that hook back there is a brand new, well, not necessarily brand new, but a remanufactured transmission that is now going into the Odyssey. The reason? I'm wore out. I'm wore out from trying to fix that old transmission. I've got a pretty good idea of what's wrong with it, but I'm just not of a mind to deal with it. I know that there's actually a couple of chipped gears in there in addition to the problems that I suspect that are in it. But sometimes it works out this way. And when I was at the dealer, we never rebuilt transmissions. It was labor intensive, and also they knew that there was risk of something like this happen. Transmission repair and rebuilding is something that is best left to the professionals, somebody that does that kind of thing every day. Somebody that's familiar enough with those thousands of parts that you'll have sitting on the bench by the time you've got that thing all apart and you're gonna fix it. It's gonna be able to know that, well, they've made the mistakes in the past. They've got that experience behind them, and they're practiced at it. We went over this a little bit when I talked about rebuild or replace. By the time you get done rebuilding something, it often ends up costing you more than just getting a remanufactured replacement that comes with a warranty. This one behind me here comes with a 3-year warranty. And it's parts and labor, so I don't have to mess with the labor. All I have to do is make sure I install it correctly, put the right fluid in it, and take care of the thing and not abuse it. And for the next 3 years, if something happens, hey, I get a new transmission and I get paid $50 an hour to do it. Pretty cool. Knowing when it's time. Now that's tricky. Knowing when it's time to say, you know what, maybe it's best not to attempt to rebuild on this. Maybe it's best to just save up my money and buy a remanufactured transmission. I'm into this thing way more than I would be if I'd have just started with the remanufactured transmission, just by design. If I'd have just started with the reman, for those of you wondering, the reman ended up being about $2,300. I didn't think that was a bad deal. With a $500 core. And for those of you not familiar with what a core charge is, a core charge is, like in this case, we have an old transmission that we took out of the vehicle. In order to get that $500 back from the company that we bought the transmission from, we take the old transmission that we took out that's bad, put it inside that shipping container that the new one came in, fill out any warranty information. Sometimes there's paperwork to be filled out or a tag or something like that. Call up the company and say, hey, come get the transmission, it's yours now. They take it back, they inspect it, make sure everything's there, make sure it's not trashed, it's a usable core, then they refund your money. It's a process that takes a little while, but it's something that's necessary in a case like this if you want that money back for the core that you got charged for when you initially purchased it. In addition to those charges, I am saddled with the charges of the parts that I bought to rebuild the transmission, which I think totaled like around $300 for the kit that I got for it. Not to mention the fluid, which was somewhere around $100 or something like that the first time. I've done this like 3 times, so there's like another $300. So all said and done, let's say conservatively, I've got like $1,500 into this rebuild that has not been successful. That's money I'll never see again. Now, for me, it's not so bad. Why? Because I made video of the whole thing, and it's part of my business. So in a way, that experiment wasn't necessarily a failed experiment because, as I said at the beginning of the video, my failures actually end up being your education. At least that's my hope anyway. So here I am. I'm already, let's just say for round numbers, $1,500 in the hole, and I go out and buy a $2,300 transmission to put in this van. And here we are. I could have bought another van for that, of this vintage. I really could have, or pretty darn close to it. Whether or not it would have also had a bad transmission, that's a possibility. These transmissions in these Odysseys tend to go out like 100,000 mile-ish, even after being replaced. You just have to play your cards right. Oh, and that warranty, that 3-year warranty that I spoke of, also has 100,000 miles, so it's 3-year, 100,000 miles. I know somebody was probably asking, what's the mileage? Calm down, calm down. I hear you typing. But my point in this video is somewhat harkening back also to the don't make my life more difficult thing. And I made my life more difficult by making this attempt. Once again, I'm not an expert as far as repairing transmissions. Never did them at the dealer. I can R&R them all day long. I mean, I can, in fact, without having, I've filmed this whole transmission rebuild. I've got about 30 hours worth of footage on the R&R, the transmission, disassembling it, going through every single part of it. I just need to find the time to edit. I will get to it. But I'm shooting sort of a follow-up today. I couldn't really finish that video without having a conclusion. Well, you're looking at the end. It harkens back to that whole, like I said, don't make my life more difficult thing. I made my life more difficult by making an attempt at this. Now, if I would have been successful, it would have been a total win. I would have been able to walk away being a hero. But as I said, not an expert, so the odds are sort of stacked against me. And I guess before you get involved in a project like this, where you're looking at potentially having to rebuild an engine or a transmission, I strongly urge you, I push you in the direction of remanufactured. I myself, I mean, you look up to me, and here I am, relying on somebody else's work to finish the job. That's the reality of it. And I'm not perfect, I don't know everything, and if you are, great, but I'm not. And I don't know too many people that are. So when you're faced with this situation, weigh your options carefully and look at what you have. I mean, even weigh the option of trading it in as is with a bad transmission. Some places take trade-ins that are in any condition, and if that's the case, they take this as a trade-in. All they do with those things is basically get you into a car loan so they can earn money off your interest and take whatever vehicle you brought to them and probably ship it off to an auction and never really deal with it from that point on. There's certain things that dealers will get involved with, certain things they won't. So no skin off their nose, no skin off somebody else's nose if you're going to try to sell it outright on the open market by yourself. That would be a bit underhanded if you didn't mention that it had a bad transmission, but I doubt you would be able to get top dollar for a vehicle with a bad transmission, engine, whatever part is holding you back from having a complete vehicle. So weigh your options carefully and look at that situation, look at that vehicle. Is the vehicle even worth investing in? I mean, I've had lots of people bring me vehicles that, okay, so it's got a bad transmission, but the engine is also not doing so good. The suspension is wrecked, the tires are crap, the brakes are bad, you know, and the interior's junk. It's a rolling dumpster, and they want to spend $3,000 on it, and like it's a 90 something. You really have to say to yourself, could I best spend my $3,000-$4,000 better elsewhere on a new vehicle rather than trying to invest in this vehicle, which the only attachment I have to it is sentimental at this point. And that's not going to net you anything back at the end of the day when you have to sell it on, if you do decide to sell it on, or you bring it to the salvage yard. Hey, if you're attached to it, you love it, it has sentimental value, I get it, I've been there. I've had to let go of some vehicles that I was really sad to let go. I dream about them. I'm glad I got some video, but I miss them. I miss them a lot. I know how you feel, but think with this head, not with this one. And for you girls, I'm not sure what you use there. You get my point. Don't get wrapped up in your ego. And ultimately that's what it comes to. In this case, it wasn't necessarily an ego. I was trying to bring you something that I hadn't brought to you before, a transmission rebuild. It didn't work out so well. It worked out to a point. Third gear is what I got missing. And if you want to know what I think the problem with this is, there's a big plate on the top of the clutch pack in the third gear on this. And you can buy different thicknesses of the plate to take up and give you the proper clutch drum clearance. And mine was too loose. And as a result, it slips going into third. Now I can buy another one of those plates, a thicker plate, hopefully bring the clearance into spec, and I'd be good to go. But like I said, I got chipped gears. I've been in it 3 times. The more you go in and out of something, the more chances you have for wearing stuff out, just getting in and out of there, and things get loose, potential for failure goes up. I feel like I've covered this topic, and it's time to move on. So let's get to the closing of this video about not getting in over your head. Hey, if you have automotive questions, even questions about automatic transmissions, or should you rebuild something, hey, I would ask that you head to ericthecarguy.com. We have a lovely list of categories that will appear as soon as you hit the homepage. These categories consist of the most popular questions that I've been asked. They're split up into subcategories, easily searchable, easy to find information that you can access instantly for free. If you don't find an answer there, hey, you know what? Feel free to sign up for a forum. It's absolutely free. All you need is an email address. Just be sure to respond to the confirmation email. It should end up in your inbox. If it doesn't, hey, check your spam folder, bulk folder, under the cushions of your couch. You got to find that. You got to click that activation link in order to complete registration. If you don't do that, you send me nasty emails. Don't do that. If you want to connect with me socially, you can find me on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter, and I close each of my videos with be safe, have fun, and stay dirty. And I will see you next time.